Hello, welcome along, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and I have a kit review for you today again, and it's a brand new kit. It's Saturday morning, Saturday the 11th of October. I was going to get stuck into that Pocker Pagani, but my eyes are absolutely streaming today for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like somebody's been rubbing bloody acid into them or something, but yeah, and I picked up the instructions and looked at them. Nah, let's do a review of this instead. So this is the brand new latest release from Ryfield Model. This has been kindly sent to me by Tiger Hobbies and not currently available in the UK. Well, should be arriving here before Christmas. It should be sometime in the first couple of weeks of December. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. It'll soon be up on the Tiger Hobbies website and you can express an interest on it there. The retail of this kit is going to be $53.99, and there's also RFM have released a lot of little extra sets for it, which I will show you also in this review. I don't actually have the sets here, I only have the pictures of them. So this is the M1128 MGS Stryker after 2010. It's got multiple integrated laser engagement system gear, and yeah, it's got 3D printed gun barrel. It's for modelers over 14, it's not a toy. And yeah, very, very nice. Now, apparently, from what I've seen online, the AFV Club kit of this is the current best available, but it is a bit of a pig to build. This should be a beauty to build. So there we go. Kit number is 5148. As I said already, the retail is going to be $53.99. So looking around the box here, we have some images of the built-up model. You can see opening doors, opening hatches, and everything, leading us to believe that there could be an interior set coming. We have all the little blue parts here showing as features, so that's very nice. And then coming over the box here, we have, you can see the 3D printed gun barrel, and you can see the photo etch being shown here. We've got suspension, working steering, and then there's a layout of all the sprues. You've got vinyl tyres, which is a shame, but there are resin wheel sets available. And we've got some other bits and pieces going on down there. So very nice. I did actually see online, somebody commented that strange they've done this one because apparently this version has just been cancelled. But they've probably done it because it's got a great big gun on it. And we all like a great big gun, don't we? So there we go. Right, I think that's 110mm, isn't it? So I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to grab this list of accessories I've got. So we can see here we've got the instructions, which is lovely, or no glossiness at all, and we've got here bags and bags of individually bagged sprues, lots and lots of goodies in there, so we'll have a good look through that in a minute. Right, so as usual with my reviews, we'll have a look at the instructions first. So box art on there, as you can see, and then some health and safety stuff here, and we've got the legends here that we not like that Harrier I reviewed yesterday with all the legends that we, with bears' faces on them. That's going to take some working out. So going over the page here, we have the sprue callouts. We have vinyl tyres. We have one sheet of photo etch. We have springs, so I'm guessing we might have working suspension. We have one spring there for the gun and 9 springs for the suspension. Why do I have 9? And then we've got a 3D printed part, which is the actual gun barrel itself. So here we're starting off by adding the differentials for the rear pair of axles. They're going in there, and then we've got these plates going in the side. I'm assuming this is some sort of armour protection, and then we've got this armour plate going on the front. We've got a shackle going on there and a towing arm going there. Here we're building up the diffs for the front axles, and this is going to be, what's that there? Making 4. That's actually like a suspension shock absorber mounting unit there. So we're making 4 of those. So then we're coming over the page and we're fitting those shock absorber units on there, and they're telling us not to glue parts, so obviously we've got lots of moving parts on here. And then we're going to come along to step 3, and you can see here that we've got the heated screwdriver symbol. So going back to the old days now and melting pins to have all working steering and everything. You may wish to, instead of having melting pins, you may wish to make yourself some discs and glue them on instead rather than melting the pins. But you do whatever you like. And then here you can see us fitting these steering arms in, and they're telling us to come inside and melt those pins so that it all works. They're not going to be linked together. You'll have to turn each wheel. but it's not a toy, it's just for display purposes. And then we've got these protective boxes going over here, which are going to protect the shock absorber areas there. And then here we've got parts here, D78 and D80, if you want to have the steering solid, or you can have it so it steers. So you've got D77 and D79 going into this wishbone here, which is also shown there. And you're going to melt that pin over, and you're going to melt that pin over there on the steering arm. So everything will turn. I've yet to see where these springs are going to be used. It's very strange. So here we have our brake drums and wheel hubs going together, and then we're adding our wheels, so they're telling us not to glue them. So we've got vinyl tires going onto the wheels, and don't glue them. So did we have a poly cap? Yes, we did. So they're going to go in on a pin on a poly cap, so they'll be easy removable for painting, which is nice. And then of course you can take the tires off. Looks like we've got tire lettering on the tires, which is a bonus. And then here we're adding lots of little plates and panels and greeblies and tie downs and everything to the actual main upper hull. Again, very strange how Riffield do this. I would be seriously tempted to there's the springs. Okay, I completely missed that. So we've got only for D77, D79. Okay, so you're using springs. They're not actually calling out the spring, they've just got the picture of a spring. So you're going to use springs there and glue that onto the top. So you're going to have movable front suspension. So we've got 4 of those. So we've now got 5 springs spare. Anyway, as I was saying, here they're adding lots and lots of details to the upper hull, and then adding the upper hull to the chassis. I would prefer to add the upper hull to the chassis, deal with the seam around the edge, and then add all the detail, rather than risk breaking all this off while you're dealing with seams. Hatches going on. You can have the hatches open should you wish. There's no point, there's no interior in there, unless of course you're getting the interior set for it, if you're watching this sometime in the future. And then we've got our vision blocks going in there, and some bits and pieces going on the side of these of that hatch there, which is nice. And then we're going to add that great big hatch onto the front, and we've got this big engine cover going on here. We've got grills and stuff in the top. Are we using? Yes, we are. We've got photo etch grills over the top of them, so that's a nice touch. Then we're going to start building up the rear doors. No point in adding the internal detail if you don't want to, because you probably won't have the doors open. Here the doors are closed. Adding that rear panel in. Again, I would be tempted to add that rear panel in, deal with the seams, and then all the details after. That's just me. Tools going into their tool tray. And then we got here, what are these? Not sure what this is. Maybe tools, would be stowage. I'm not sure. It's probably stowage. And here it's showing F18. I can't quite work out what the difference is there. Maybe they're saying you can have it or not. I don't know. So anyway, you'll know better than me. Those of you that know your Strykers will know that that should be fitted or not for a certain model. And then here we're adding bits and pieces in here. We've got a hatch going on there. We've got a little hatch going onto a piece of photo etch. Got what looks like a horn there. More stowage. There's F19, so you might want to use that or not. And then we've got lights going in for the front. We've got lenses for them and everything. Little photo etch bracket. We've got those mirrors which we've put on. Where are we adding the mirrors? Here they are. Okay, so they're showing that added, and then this side is how it's going on. We're building up the mirror there, and they're showing all the positions. You can have the mirrors folded, or you can have them out. We've got a little step ladder here for a maintenance crew, so you can build up that step ladder as closed. It looks like we've got photo etch. No, we don't. So you can build it up as closed, or you can build it up as opened. I'm just looking on here. E25, E23. It kind of looks like you can build it. You can build both. E25, E22. That's not used there. D91 is the only part that's common. So you got to, so you can have a little spare step ladder for a diorama or something. So it looks like these are all E parts and these are all D parts. So there you go. adding that ladder then stowed on the side. Then we've got some sort of plate going over the top. Then we've got the detail going in the side. So this is actually some sort of box. This is probably the multiple integrated system, whatever it's called. What was it called? Multiple integrated laser engagement system. It's probably something to do with that. Got lots of cooling fans on it, so it's probably something to do with that. And then we've got water or fuel tanks, whatever they are. They've got some photo etch straps holding them on. And then we're going on to the gun. Now I did notice in the bottom of the box there was a correction sheet. When I was looking for the decals and I found the correction sheet. I just want to look back in the instructions here a second, because have I missed something here? Yes, I have. We do have working suspension. I didn't see that spring there. So we do have working suspension all the way around. Okay, so there is a correction sheet for this. We'll look at that in a minute. So we've got the 3D printed part for the gun. That's going into that section there. We've got another 3D printed part on the back, a spring, and then we've got I'm looking here. It's saying don't glue that. Okay, so that is that sticking out of the back. So you're going to sort of pinch the spring up and sandwich it in between those parts. We've got pivots going in here, so we've got a poly cap going in there, and then you're going to bring those together. The breech is going to hold the gun barrel, and the gun will have recoil on it. Then we've got some sort of vision system there, some sort of aiming device, I'm guessing, and then we've got this what looks like might be a counterweight on it, and then we've got more detail panels here going around the outside, and then tops going on, lots and lots of little straps and greeblies and antenna bases and that sort of stuff. We've got some drilling to do, so that gun is going to look absolutely stunning. It certainly does look pretty bloody stunning, doesn't it? Lots and lots of detail on there. And then we've got, what's that, 50 cal going together, and there's the laser type surround that goes around it. Isn't that for training? Isn't that for a training gun or something? I don't remember now. And then here we have the ammo box with the ammo. Nice to see you've got ammo in there, not just left empty. And then we've got the mount for that gun. That's going to be able to pivot around on there. It looks like it glues in place, so it's not going to be movable. Although it might be, actually, yes, it may be because they're gluing onto there, so maybe you can have it movable if you want to. And then you've got the different types of shields going on. Turret, we've got the upper turret with the cupola and everything on there. So again, build up the turret, deal with that seam, and then add your greeblies. And then here we're adding more greeblies onto the top. And then we're going to put this massive gun down on the top of the turret. So that's going to look absolutely incredible. And they're showing here you've got a main hatch open, but you're going to have that closed because there's nothing inside. And then here we've got a tow bar, we've got an A-frame, so you can have it stowed or open. So there it is stowed, and there it is open, being used. So lots of diorama possibilities for you there. And then here we come on to the options. It looks like it's green, green or green. So we've got the 3rd Squadron 2nd Cavalry Regiment Wolfpack. We've got the 3rd Squadron 2nd Cavalry Regiment Wolfpack. So there's two different versions there with you can see this one's got a number there and this one's got like a wolf's face. They've both got the ladder. I'm guessing the ladder is aluminium. I would have thought they would have painted that. And then we've got the little cans there in like a tan colour. And then we've got the 1st Squadron 2nd Cavalry War Eagles. So again, this one's got the number on the front, this one's got the number on the front as well. So we've got 4 different options to build the kit, and they're all just down to decals because basically they're all green. So there we go. There we are. Sorry about the mix up there, but I noticed we had 9 springs. I'm kind of wondering why we had 9 springs when we only need 8, but we do have working suspension. So there you go. Lots of diorama possibilities there. You put a little bit of weight in it, you can put it down on even ground, and all the wheels will move up and everything. So that's a nice touch. Right, so let's have a look at what we've got. We'll go sprue by sprue. So bear in mind this is actually a pre-release commercial sample kit. So if we do have any short shots or missing parts or anything, that's why. So let's have a look in here. We've got 2 sprues here that are identical. So this is the D sprue. So where was that? It was a D91, wasn't it? Okay, so they've given us 4 of those. So it looks like you will be able to have your ladder stowed and have another one for another diorama somewhere. So that's cool. Some tiny little parts there. I'm surprised they're not broken. So we've got suspension arms here, or upright should I say. These are the non-suspension, non-moving type, non-steerable, and this is the steerable type. You can see we've got the longer pins here that you're going to melt over. And then here we've got steering arms. It looks like they're going to need to be drilled, unless they're the ones, yeah, they're the ones for the rear, or they're the ones for non-steering, I'm guessing. And then here are the parts to make it all steering. Yeah, you've got the long pins and the holes and everything. So there we go, lots and lots of options. You have to be careful what you do. Yeah, beautiful detail, nice and crisp. Lovely wheel hub detail. You can see on there, very nice. That'll look fantastic with a wash. We've got our brake back plates there. We've got some moulded on grills there. There's your solid suspension units. And there's your working suspension units. Cool. So that's our D-sprue. Very nice indeed. I'll put that down over here. And then here we've got an individually bagged sprue. This is F, for what it's worth. So again, we've got this lovely RFM tan plastic, which is a joy to work with. It's lovely plastic. It's not too hard, it's not too soft. It doesn't all burr up when you sand it and everything. Oh, so this is F and E, this one. So yeah, very nice indeed. So we've got these armour plates here which are going to go underneath behind the wheels. And then here we've got that big box with the fans. They're going to sit in there. The fans are photo etch. There's a tool tray there. Not sure what that is. Maybe you know. They've got some little steps and lights and hinges for the hatches and stuff. And then we've got our selection here. So you've got the there's your machine gun armour there, and then there's the optional one there. And then here we've got the sides of the stowage. More armour. And then we've got the steps. So you can see here. Here's the steps in their folded condition, and then there's the steps unfolded. So there we go. Here's the ring for the mount the gun. Little tiny seat marks in there, but absolutely tiny, and they're on the bottom, so we're not going to worry about them. We've got ejector pin marks on the back of there, but it looks like something's going to go over them. We've got ejector pin marks in there, but they're very shallow. Obviously the marks on there are on the backs, they don't matter. But and what ejector pin marks there are, they are, even on these parts, they're extremely shallow. It's a shame they're not extremely lightly raised. Tiny bit of flash on there. Or is that? No, it's not flash, it's supposed to be there, sorry. But yeah, very nicely moulded, all crisp. There's the framework there, is it? For the, no, it's not the framework for the mirror, is it? But very, very nice indeed. So where is this way? I love getting these pre-release kits. It's always nice to be one of the first to have your dirty paws on it, you know. Right, so you've got some lovely suspension parts here. So there's your main back plate of the hull. We've got the armour plate there for the front. There's the engine cover, more hatches here. They've got this lovely non-slip coating on them, on these hatches and stuff. Here's your differentials and drive shafts. They look very spindly. There's our mirror brackets there. And then lots and lots of little greeblies and bits of plating and shielding that's going to go around. And then these pieces here, thoughtfully slide moulded with the holes through them. So they're very nice. And there's that hatch with the, it's going to have all the detail down the sides and vision blocks coming out the top. Beautiful, isn't it? Then we have here a small sprue. So this looks like it's a kind of generic sprue for everything modern. So we've got their fuel, their water. Yes, we've got 2 water, 2 fuel. Ammo boxes there. All our tools. 50 cal breech. Some towing eyes. There's a, that's lovely, isn't it? That ammunition box there with the rounds coming out. There's the other part of the gun. There's an antenna there. Little fire extinguisher. Very nice. You can see this. I think that's a gun mount there, all slide molded, which is very thoughtful. Likey. And then this is the final main sprue, so it's not that heavy a part count. So there we go. So we have our main sprue. We have the turret here, which is beautifully detailed with all these fasteners on for the armour. And then we've got, this is, I think that's the top of the machine gun, isn't it? This is the breech of the machine gun. It's not the machine gun, the actual gun. So yeah, this is all gun parts. So this obviously will be the sprue for this version, and then there'll be different sprues for different versions. You can see we've got a one-piece slide molded plastic barrel, although we get a 3D printed one as well. So you've got this if you want to. Just clean up the mold seam and away you go. So that's very nice. It is rifled on the end as well. So yeah, very nice indeed. You can see this this armour plating here with the detail, and all the detail on there, hinges and everything. Beautiful. Right, so here we have, this is the obviously the belly of the hull, beautifully detailed. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze then. Beautifully detailed, and you can see all the armour plating inside there, all nicely done. We've got some lovely rings of bolts around those hubs. Got some mounts in there, that's for steering, and then you're going to come in here with your hot screwdriver and melt those pins, and then this is where the shock absorbers go for the working suspension. And then rather than mould it on, they've got all these individual panels to go on for your armour. There's armour going to go in there and in there. So, or maybe not in there, but there is in there. That's nice. And then here we have the upper hull. So there's our upper hull, and we've got some little pieces in here, so don't go cutting it off and throwing it away. You can see the upper hull is gorgeous. I'm guessing the fans of the Stryker are going to be looking at this and comparing it to their AFV club. That is beautiful. And then you've got the moulding on the top with these engine grills. You've got photo etch to go over them, remember. Got that texture on there. Really nice. Big old thing as well, isn't it, when it's all built up? Especially with that massive great gun on it. Then we have, here we have a bag of springs. So we've got some springs and some metal pins. I didn't see what they were for, but we got some metal pins in there. There's the big spring for the gun and the small springs for the suspension. We have a bag of vinyl. So we have tyres, and we have our, there's some sort of cover there for something or other. And then we've got our polycaps for our wheels and stuff. And then the tyres, unfortunately, are vinyl, but they are very nice vinyl. You can see we've got Michelin on there. They've obviously paid their license. And then we've got you've got Michelin on the tyre there, and then you've got all the sizes, and we've got the lovely baggy look on the outside as well. So yeah, even though they make, I think they make 3 wheel sets for this, Do you need them? Who knows? If you want sagged wheels, yes. But then how many times do you see military vehicles with sagged wheels? And then in here we have, I said that was the last sprue, this is the last sprue, our clear parts, which will all be lovely. And you can see that when you look inside, when you look in these, they look like chrome. But very nice vision blocks, little lenses for sensors and stuff. We've got some headlight lenses there, which have the grilling on them, so that's very nice. And then I can go back in the box. We have photo etch. We have photo etch and a tiny decal sheet. So we have photo etch here. So we have, there's our fans, there's our engine grills. We've got some straps for tools and stuff, and then some other little brackets and greeblies and bits and pieces. So there's your photo etch. It's very nice. Let's grab a bit of card. You can see those engine grills look lovely. Those fan grills, sorry. As do the engine grills. They're not just a mesh. They've actually got that woven finish to them, which you may be able to pick out there. So yeah, typical Ryefield model, bloody gorgeous. And then here we have our decal sheet, which is nothing really much, but you can see here we've got our registrations and codes and serials and emblems and stuff. We've got our wolf's faces there. So there's all your different bits and pieces. So we'll put those away so that they don't get damaged. Back in the box. Here we have the correction sheet. So that's the correction sheet for fitting the gun. Not really quite sure. Was it this they missed out on the instructions? I don't know. But there we go. There's the correction anyway. Okay, step 16 on page 14. And then last but not least, we have here the 3D printed gun, and this is sealed with staples. So I'm going to use my old Tamiya cutters, and I emphasize old. I would never do this with a nice pair of cutters. Just pull those staples out, come out, and then we'll do the same on this one. Okay, I'm going to put those straight in the bin, because if they end up in the carpet, they could end up in puppy's paws. Where's the bloody bin gone? Come here. Right. And then we have here, this is the rear part of the gun. So that's your little 3D printed part there. And then here we have the main barrel, which is 3D printed, and it's very, very nice. Now, something I don't understand here, in this addendum, no, hang on. Okay, so what they're saying here is you can use the 3D printed part, or you can use the plastic barrel. When you add the photo etch, you add this piece here, you add the little rifled bit in the end, and well, that's a blank in the end, isn't it? And then you've got the piece going in the back. So if you use the plastic barrel, that is already on there. You don't need that piece there. But there we are. You can see this has got a rifled barrel. It's also got the plastic one is just straight because of moulding restrictions, but this one's actually got the helix to it. So that is very, very nice indeed. Very nicely done. That is lovely. So, and that's just standard in all the kits, I guess. I don't think that's a special sort of first 1,000 kits or whatever. But even if it is, you've still got a one-piece slide moulded plastic barrel in the kit. So there we are. That has been a review of this brand new beauty, the RFM M1128 NGS Stryker after 2010 with miles. Now then, this is the standard kit, and as I've said before, as I've mentioned before, this is $53.99. Okay, so if you want to get this kit and then add the upgrade set to it, again, all of this will be available from Tiger Hobbies, who are the importer for RFM. And he's ordered 10 of these. And here's 2108, and this is the upgrade set, which has basically got some 3D printed parts to replace. If you go and look at the RFM website or Armour or their Facebook page, you'll see lots and lots of details about these. So there's the upgrade set, and that's going to retail at $29.99. He's ordered 10 of those. And then here we have 2109, which is just a pair of sagged wheels with chains. So you can replace 2 of your wheels, your vinyl wheels and tyres, your plastic wheels and vinyl tyres, with 2 sagged wheels with chains. And they are $12.99, and he's got 6 of those coming in. And then 2110, we've got sagged wheels with no chains, so that's 8 pieces. So that's just resin sagged wheels to replace the wheels you've got in the kit. I think he said 9 of those he's got in. I can't read my own writing, it's either 9 or 7. And that's $29.99 for those. And then here we've got, which I think is a little bit much, 2111 is sagged wheels. So you've got 6 pieces with no chains and 2 pieces with chains, and that's $37.99. It's like, seems a lot. But there you go, it is what it is. And then 2112, you get a 3D printed barrel. I know you're thinking, why do you want that? You've already got one in the kit. The 3D printed barrel is for the AFV Club kit. Okay, so don't get confused and go and order yourself one of those for this when you've already got one in the box. So there we go. I think the upgrade set is thoroughly recommended if you want to add detail to your model. But the rest of it, you can take your choice. But then, you know, when you look at the box art here, you can see, I know it's only an artist's impression, but it doesn't have sagged wheels. So you very rarely see military vehicles with sagged wheels, I find. So bear that in mind. Anyway, right. Thank you for watching. I will see you all soon. And if you want to express an interest in this, wait for it to come up on the Tiger Hobbies website, and then you can go in. They don't actually do pre-orders, but what they do is you sort of express your interest, and then they contact you as soon as it comes in. So you'll be one of the first to know. Right, and there'll be obviously various other shops around the country that will be stocking it, but they all get theirs from RFM, from Tiger Hobbies. So there we go. Right, I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.